Hi everyone, this is Sunette here in this video to share with you a moment I recently faced. And this was in relation to the words comfort zones and dependency. And because the word comfort zones has played quite a major role in my personal process throughout the years, especially when I read a quote from Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, on the internet. And he had a very, very interesting take on the words comfort zone. From where in that moment, the words comfort zone stuck with me, and I've been opening up those words within myself and my life in many ways, because the way that Brandon Lee speaks about it, it just really was a very good example of, how someone can speak about something if they've really walked a process with it for themselves in their lives in a way where it made an impact on them as a person in how they think or speak or behave. And so because of that, we also decided that Brandon Lee will be coming through the portal and sharing with you his experiences within the words comfort zone and dependency. So look out for that. But in the meantime, the main dimension that opened up in a discussion with an individual was how, I have a look at my relationship with my family and how, especially with my parents, a gift that I have received from them, I think mainly indirectly, was teaching us to be very independent within who we are as individuals, and also from a very young age reminded us and kept on reminding us, you've got to stand on your own 2 feet in this world. You've got to remember, we might not always be here with you and for you. Who are you going to be? What are you going to make of yourself in your life? And can you stand on your own 2 feet? So in a way, from when I was young, I was prepared in this way, not completely, almost militantly, but it was there. And oddly enough, after my whole family structure had changed and I did end up alone, did I do so well? No. Even though I was more prepared on a knowledge and information understanding way, when it came to reality and me actually having to do that, it was a whole different story. And so interestingly enough, for some time in my life, I created comfort zones. What do I mean by comfort zones? I was always looking for people I could depend on, both emotionally and either physically in terms of survival with basic needs, money, things like that. And I'd always have this, kind of an urge or a pull within me just to be with and hang on to and depend. So I would very seldom even take the step of making a decision for myself, or just sitting back and asking, look, what do I really want for me? All I was thinking about is take care of yourself, survive, work, look for a place to stay. Yeah, and that was it. And, what opened up for me within this all, and obviously with maturing and growing up and getting older, I learned also the difference between, dependency and interdependency, equal support, things like that, which can also exist, where, you, for example, in community living, you are supporting each other equally, but you are individuals and independent at the same time. But throughout my whole personal life experience, and having a look at how so many of us tend to make that mistake of limiting ourselves within comfort zones, of always expecting everything in our lives to be the same, to be the way it is, for everyone in our lives as they are now to always be there. And if you are so dependent on purely only others, where you don't even think about, who am I? Or what am I going to make of me and my life? Where you don't even ask that question. You're just kind of living. You're not even making anything of yourself or having a future or a plan. That in that there's a comfort zone, because you won't push yourself, you won't expand, you won't deepen yourself, further yourself. You just kind of, in a way, sitting back and living the dream. And I did that myself as well in many different ways for a long time, until I really started waking up, because more and more unpredictable things in my life started happening, where it ended up being just me. And it is a scary thought, where, for example, let's take it as parents. You don't want to tell your teenage children, what are you going to do with yourself and your life when we suddenly die? When you have nowhere to go but just yourself. We sometimes, and people have said that to me in my life. And what happened? Not that exactly, but something similar happened, and I ended up by myself. But I was so afraid of losing them, and even looking at that point, that I refused to even acknowledge it exists. So I didn't work on it or work with it within myself at all. And the thing is, everyone, personally, I would not want this point to be experienced by everyone, like in the hard way, that I had to learn what it means to be independent, but yet have like equal support, but also build others up into that independence for who they are, for themselves. And I know at the moment we're living in a world system, in an economic system, where it is sometimes quite impossible for, let's say, a family of 5, for each one of those 5 to bring an income in. It's not always going to be tangible or practical, but that's fine. I'm not only talking about the monetary perspective. I'm talking about personal, even who you are as a person, your purpose, your future, your vision, even starting to build something for yourself in whichever way possible. But there are so many people out there in the world who are not making anything of themselves or their lives at all, because they've just got money coming in. It creates a form of postponement, laziness. Things are just going to be the way they are forever. So just to start having a look at opening up those dimensions for yourself. I know it's hard questions. I know it's tough. But life is going to be tougher on you if you don't want to look at those or face those questions just because of fear. That is what's going to limit you. That's what's creating the comfort zone, and it's all coming from dependency. And within this, also having a look at how interesting it is if we look at the stark difference between the elite in this world. We have so often seen even series and things that's done about elite or very wealthy or rich youngsters, children, that are just been given money, not making anything of themselves, their future, their lives. They become children of the system, as they say. Whereas children of real life out there in the world, life, if you were alone, is not just going to hand you money. It's not just going to hand you purpose. You've got to get off your ass and actually start creating it. So what I'm saying is, live your life in a way where, yes, you may now have the money, the support, the people and everything, but also take into account and consideration, who am I for me? If I had to, for example, now take responsibility for everyone or for others, and now it was only me, do we have that backup? Do we have that plan? Because interestingly enough, when I started changing myself and looking at myself and my responsibility toward others in that way, I realized, because I was in a comfort zone, I was keeping everyone else in a comfort zone as well, and in a dependency. And when I started standing up and asking myself those hard questions, I started learning about expressions, directive principles, abilities, skills within myself that I didn't even realize I had. All right, everyone. So it's like you've got to shake it up, get some fire under your ass, and start looking at the reality of life itself. Because in that, interestingly enough, you'll find the most beautiful key about qualities within yourself that you've never realized was even there. So time to wake up, get a bit real, wake up inside yourself. Stop taking the life that you have now for granted. Thank you very much.